3 mindset tips to overcome social anxiety. What's going on, people? My name is Zulfikar and welcome to my YouTube channel, which is about self-improvement and helping you overcome the conditioning, the programming, the lies and deceit of this degenerate society we find ourselves in today. So go ahead and click the subscribe button so that you receive more content on these topics. Now back to today's video, which is about giving you 3 mindset tips and shifts that you can make to help you overcome social anxiety. Now, why am I making this video? Well, because I used to suffer from social anxiety. It was crippling, it was awful. It was so bad that I was the type of person to avoid crowds, avoid talking to people, avoid phone calls. It got so bad that, even when I had moments when I was ill, when I wasn't feeling well and I had to make an appointment to the doctors, what I would literally do was pick up my phone and then for half an hour have a panic attack. Like, I would rehearse the conversation in my mind, like, what am I going to say, what's the response going to be, how am I going to react. It got so bad that I even used to write down the introduction line that I would say. So it would be something like, "Hi, my name is Zulfikar, I'd like to make a doctor's appointment please," or whatever, yada yada yada. I'd write that down, I'd rehearse it, and then in my mind straight away the mental chaos starts, like, what if they say this, what will I say then, what if they say that, what will I say then, and the panic, the sweaty palms, the heart racing, and a whole lot of other nonsense ended up making me not even making the phone call. So I would just not even make the phone call, I wouldn't even take the appointment, I'd carry on suffering in my room and whatnot. So social anxiety is a crippling disorder. People that don't have it don't really understand how bad it can get, but the good news is you can get over it, because I got over it, and it is well within your control and power to do so. So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 mindset shifts that you can make, which helped me in overcoming my social anxiety. Tip number 1, understand the root cause of your social anxiety. Where did it come from? The majority of people are not born with social anxiety. My personal opinion is no one is born with it, but you have people today that say people are born with certain neurons and the brain functions and whatnot, and because of that they are a certain way, but each to their own. But the majority of people are not born with social anxiety. That means it's been programmed into you, it's been conditioned into you because of some kind of childhood trauma, some kind of childhood experience, or something that's happened in your life which has developed this feeling of social anxiety. Now, the good thing about that is, if it's been conditioned into you, it can be conditioned out of you. If it has been programmed into you, it can be programmed out of you. Now, for me, thinking back, I think a large part of my social anxiety came from the fact of how we were brought up as children. Like, I vividly remember being told and being taught time and time and time again to don't talk to strangers. Strangers are bad. Strangers are out to get you. They'll kidnap you. They'll kill you. And I vividly remember in primary school watching a video. In those days you had one of those monitors with a little video cassette department at the bottom. They put on the video, and I vividly remember a little girl walking, a car pulling up, stopping, and then offering a bag of sweets. The girl would take the bag of sweets, and then the person from the car would snatch the girl and kidnap her, and off she went. Now, I'm a child at the time, and if I still remember that image vividly, it's obviously had an impact on me in adulthood. And that generation, the millennial generation, we all went through that programming and that conditioning that strangers are bad, we should avoid strangers, we should not talk to strangers. But here's the problem with that mode of thinking. There are 6 to 8 billion people on the planet. Not all of them are out to get you. That means, out of the 6 to 8 billion, the majority of those people on this planet are strangers, because you just don't know who they are. But 6 to 8 billion people are not out to get you, and therefore the false programming is to make you believe that the 6 to 8 billion people of strangers around the world are out to get you. It's simply not true. The majority of people are kind, caring, considerate and compassionate. They're happy people. They're there to help you. Only a very minute amount of people are actually out to get you and do bad things, and a large part of that is because of the media. You know, we always see bad news, we always see bad things happening, and we have this perception that the world is evil, the world is bad, and people are out to get you. It's simply not the case. So the first mindset shift that you need to make is understand the root cause of where this social anxiety came from, and then overcome it by flipping the script and understanding the reality of the situation. Now, it might have been a childhood trauma for you, it might have been a specific circumstance. If it was a specific incident, try and counter that incident by doing the opposite of what happened in the previous incident. Ultimately, the number one thing you need to remember is that because it was programmed into you, it can be programmed out of you. It is well within your control, so feel empowered to do something about it. The second mindset shift is to understand what it is that you're really afraid of. Now, for me, it was thinking about it and trying to understand what happened, why was I scared, and it comes back down to this fear of judgment, caring what people think. It's a fear of judgment, but you don't really have a fear of judgment, because if I was to say to you, you look cool today, you look happy, you look very confident, that is a judgment. But is that a judgment that you would reject? Is that a judgment that would hurt you? Of course it isn't. So it's not the fear of judgment that you have, it's the fear of criticism. It's the fear of rejection, and this is one of the biggest fears that so many people around the world have. It is a fear of rejection, and your social anxiety is most likely rooted in this fear of rejection. So what can you do to overcome that? Well, put yourself in embarrassing situations. Get over this fear of judgment, get over this fear of rejection. What did I do? I made videos online, I made stupid videos online. I deliberately asked for things. Like, I used to be afraid to ask for help, I used to be afraid to ask for absolutely anything, but now I went through this process of deliberately asking for things that I would not get. And this is something that you can do. Say, for example, you want to buy a course or a program, ask for a discount. A few years ago, it would have mortified me to even dare to ask for a discount. Now I do it just to get over this fear of rejection. Most likely the people are going to say no. Sometimes you might get lucky and you might even get a discount. So there's really no bad thing to come out of asking people for discounts. It's just a way for you to get over your anxiety, get over your fear of rejection. Maybe get a sales job. The majority of sales calls are going to end up in rejection, so that is a good way, a good training to get over this fear of rejection. And those of you that watched my appearance on Gary Vee, at the end of that segment I asked him to come on a podcast episode. Like, I wasn't expecting anything. The goal there for me was to get over this fear of asking for things and this fear of getting rejected. Luckily for me, he responded and said he would come on. Obviously, I haven't done the amount of episodes that I need to do with the podcast, but that's besides the point. The point is, put yourself in a position where you are constantly asking and getting rejected, because after a while you'll find that you just no longer care. And mindset shift number 3 is the following. When you think about people with social anxiety, when you think about yourself as somebody with social anxiety, how would you label yourself? Like, what would you think about yourself? That you're a kind, caring, generous person who looks out for other people, you're a good person, etc. That's typically what people with social anxiety think of themselves. They think they're quiet, they have empathy for people, they want to do good in the world, but it's just that they're quiet and they don't want to get out. Well, how about I told you this? You are a narcissist. You are egotistical, you are selfish, you are self-centered. How does that make you feel? I'm sure you don't like hearing those words, but having social anxiety is exactly those things. Let me explain. When you have social anxiety, you've got this fear of judgment, of criticism, like we've just mentioned, but there's this feeling that people are going to think this, people are going to think that, people are going to react like this, people are going to react like that. And that is inherently a egotistical thought to have, because why would anybody be thinking about you? Who's really thinking about you? For you to think that you are the center of attention for the world, for you to think that you're going to go out there and all of a sudden people are going to be thinking about you, they're going to be having judgments about you, that is a very narcissistic and egotistical thought to have. Now, you don't want to be a narcissist, you don't want to be egotistical, do you? Of course you don't. So the next time you find that you're worried about what people might think, or you're worried about the opinions of other people, just remember, I am being a narcissist, I am being egotistical. Do I want to be this way? Of course not. And that mindset shift will help you to overcome that moment of social anxiety and do what it is that you need to do. So there you have it. Those are 3 mindset shifts which helped me, and I am certain they will help you. So the first one, to recap, is to understand the root cause of where this social anxiety came from. The second is to understand what it is that you are really afraid of, the fear of rejection. And the third one is to understand that you are being selfish, self-centered and egotistical by having social anxiety and assuming that people are thinking about you. So once you have those understandings, you then flip the script and do the opposite of those, and that will help you overcome social anxiety. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, drop your comments below. How has social anxiety affected you? What steps have you taken, if any, to overcome it? And just let me know what you think about the content of this video. Try these tips out, let me know how they go for you, and make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Take care now, bye bye.